Hello everyone, I'm Austin Fothery with ICDevs.org, and today I'm going to walk you through what I hope will be a very short example of how to launch a token on the internet computer. So you're going to need a few things to get started here, as there's not a formal launch pad yet. You're going to need Git. Hopefully you already have that installed. If you don't, you can Google installing Git and you'll get some instructions like this that will tell you how to install it onto your system. Then you'll need another tool called DFX. DFX is a tool that lets you run and deploy internet computer software on your machine. There's one more requirement that you'll need, which is mops. Mops.one is a Motoko package manager, a lot like npm. If you've ever used one of those, you can go to, there should be a getting started, documentation, quick start. You can npm i-g mops, and you'll be well on your way. We're also going to need a canister to deploy to. So I have created a canister called ICDevs token. You can do this on the canisters tab of the network nervous system. So if you just go back, you create a canister, you give it a name, and you fund it with a certain number of ICP that will give you a number of cycles. Typically you need about 2 cycles, 2 trillion cycles. For one of these canisters, you probably need over 4, because as soon as an archive canister gets created, it sends it 2 trillion cycles so that it can live for a while. That is the first step. One thing that we need to do with our canister is to make sure that we can control it. To install code, we have to control our canister. So let's go back here and look here. We'll see that we have no controller. Or we have one controller, but that's our NNS account. So what we want to do is we're going to run a DFX command. When you first run DFX, it may ask you to set up a principal or an account, and you can use that one. I have one called ICDev Manager, and it has this principal. So I'm going to take this principal, come back over here, and we will add the controller to our canister. We're going to be using some code here based off of Penn Industrial's ICRC Fungible token. We'll be building this in motoko. There is a example token in here called token.mo, and a couple other examples if you want to try some other interesting stuff. We're going to keep it pretty simple. And so we are going to fork this. We'll call it ICDevs token. And we're just going to pull in the main branch. And grab this. And to get started, I'm going to git clone ICDevs token. I'm now going to open this folder in Microsoft Visual Studio Code. And now we have our token.mo, which is our token. Now, I'm going to create this token very quickly for this video. We'll have follow-up videos that will walk you through configuring this token. So what I thought would be a fun experiment is to launch an ICDevs token, and then later we will configure it so that people can mint ICDevs tokens by sending this token canister a certain amount of maybe ICP, maybe CK ETH. Let me get a terminal window here. So I have a bunch of errors here because I haven't run mops, and actually it ran mops for me, but you'll want to run mops install, and that will run and install your packages. You can see all the packages that were installed in mops here. There's a number of things, including ICRC 1, 2, 3, and 4, which are the modules that give us functionality that's needed for an ICRC 1, 2, 3, and 4 token. When we look at our DFX JSON, we see a number of definitions of canisters. This prod token, we're going to use that. And so we need our canister ID.json file. We're going to add a file called canister IDs.json. It is prod token, and the network is IC. IC will mean production, and we're just going to deploy right to production because who doesn't want to test in production? I will save that. Every canister is initiated with these args, so it's going to start asking for those, and there's defaults in here. And so maybe I'll look back and forth between these and talk about each one as we go through it so that you all can see what we're doing. In fact, I'm just gonna, let's edit this first. So we will do some editing and then we'll just pass in the token. So our name is gonna be ICDevs. Let's make our symbol ICDevs logo. I'll have to come back and replace the logo some other time. I'm just going to use this default logo, which I think maybe is a picture of the internet computer. We want to have 8 decimals. Our fee is going to be fixed at 10,000, just like ICP. So every time you do a transfer, there will be a 10,000 burn. The minting account is going to be whoever deploys a token. So initially I'm going to be the minting account, and we'll change that later to sort of make the thing more decentralized, but I'll be able to mint as many tokens as I want. Max supply is going to be null, the minimum burn amount. Here, our memo, be 64. We're not going to have any advanced settings, no metadata, no fee collector. Just these have defaults, which you can find in the ICRC1 code. We're going to set a maximum number of counts and settle 2 accounts. So if we get over, say, 100 million accounts, then the smallest 1,000 will get deleted. Might not be necessary to do with the newer memory models, but that's where we're at. So ICRC2 is a transfer from. So we're going to say that you can have a maximum of 10,000 approvals for account. The max allowance will be the total supply of the token, so you can't approve more than the total supply. The fee will follow ICRC1. Same with approvals. There's a maximum amount you can have. ICRC3 is a log. We're going to say that there are a maximum of 3,000 records that we're going to keep on our main ledger, and we're going to settle to 2,000. So 1,000 will be archived at a time. We're going to use a stable memory on our archive, which is a region that will theoretically let our archive grow to about 400 gigabytes. And we are going to send 6 trillion to our archive. If you want to have your archive be controlled by someone else, you can put controllers here like CycleOps if you want it to keep it funded. We're supporting these blocks: 1 exfer, 2 exfer, 2 approve, 1 mint, and 1 burn. These are defined in ICRC3, which should be being approved here in the next couple, I hope, days. ICRC4 lets us set maximums here. This is a batch transfer, and so we're going to say that we will allow up to 200 transfers in one ICRC4 transaction, and the ability to check up to 200 balances at one time. So I'm going to run dfx dfx deploy network IC and prod token. We should be allowed to install our code. I'm gonna click this and open this, and we'll see where it takes us. This is Candid UI. I should be able to go find some metadata. And if I look here, I can see that I have my ICDevs symbol and name. There are no tokens. Now, as I mentioned, I was the minting account. Now I'm the minting account, so I can't, if I send any tokens I send from myself or to if I send tokens from myself, they'll be minted. If I send tokens to myself, they will be burned. What I'm going to do is I'm going to mint some tokens to one of my sub accounts. And here we should see the ability for us to fill this information in. So I'm going to call this, I need to call it prod token. And I am going to send this to myself. I want to enter a sub account. And it's going to be hex. Okay, let's try it without the OX. So this should be a 32 byte sub account. I'm going to enter the fee, which remember was 10,000. Now, since it's a mint, it's actually going to ignore my fee. So actually, I should probably, yeah, it may fail if I send a fee, but we'll see. Let's see what happens. You want a memo field? No, we're not going to put a memo in. From sub accounts, null. That would be our minting account. I created at time. We're going to do null and a value. So let's mint ourselves 1,000 tokens, and then they're E8s, so there's 8 exponents. So we're going to do that. So 1,000. And do I want to send this message? Yes. Okay, now we have a transaction. So if we go back and we query our total supply, we'll see that we now have about 1,000 tokens. And if I use my principal here, now if I query that, it should be 0 because I'm the minting account. But let's and a 1 at the end. We can see that we have 10,000. So, or 1,000 tokens. So that's it. We have an ICRC1 token. I will send one transaction to myself here. Let me go back and we'll do another transfer. We're going to transfer to ourself. Yes, we're going to send to this hex that we entered. Let's send to our second sub account. I think we pass in no fee, it just uses the default, which should be 10,000, no memo. And then our from sub account, we do need to enter in a hex string of 1 because that's where all of our funds are. No created at time, and then the balance, let's send ourselves 10 tokens. Great, and that's block number 1. And now we have 2 items that include the p hash. So we can check the tip, which should have our certificate, as well as which is a signed certificate that the current blockchain is correct. Let's check let's see if ICRC4 works. So we'll check some balances. Yes, I want a new vector element. I'm going to enter in my principal. Yes. We'll check 1, and then I'm going to do another one. Sorry for all the copying and pasting, but this is certainly better than the way we used to do it, which was having to craft these candid statements on our own. And so this is what ultimately gets sent here. We're going to ask for these 2 balances. Yep, we're going to send it. It should send, and we get back the vector of the first account having this many tokens left and our second account having this many tokens left. One more thing we should probably do to make this a bit more real, because the command line is great and all, but we actually want our tokens in our wallet, right? So I am going to come back over here. And remember, we have this canister ID. And I'm going to pull up here, and I'm going to go to my plug. And I am going to click here. I say I'm going to add a token, custom, put in this canister ID that you deployed, and we're going to say it's an ICRC1 token. Just a red blob. All right, we're going to add that, and we have none, which I hope that you can see, but it's like you can. Yeah, you can see ICDev has 0 tokens. So let me grab this, and we're going to go back to do another transfer. We're going to transfer to this account, and now plug is, if you have an address from plug, it's always the default account, so we say no. The fee is going to be normal. The optional field memo is none. The sub account, from sub account, we need to put in our 1. So let's grab, that's going to be 2. Let's send it from 1. And then our balance, let's send ourselves 10 tokens. Send it off. All right. Now we have a second item, and if we click on our plug, when it loads up, and we scroll down, we should see that we now have 10 ICDevs tokens in our plug wallet, and we're off to the races. So I will stop there. When we come back on our next video, we'll start to add some features to our token, which is upgradable, and we own it. So we can upgrade it, where we will set up a way for people to send us ICP and then claim their ICDevs tokens, and it'll be a new way to donate to ICDevs. Would appreciate if anybody who enjoys this video could subscribe. We need to get to 1,000 subscribers to allow Google, for Google to allow us to raise money through these videos for ICDevs.org, which is a 501c3 charity. So we'll also maybe figure out a way for people who do donate that want to deduct on their taxes if they're US citizens to be able to claim those deductions as well. So thanks everybody, and I'll see you on the next video.